Bitcoin has made an explosive move right out the top of the local range. And if you're wondering how this happened so quickly and so easily, you're not alone. Good morning, guys. It's Keith Allen. We're going to dive right into the Bitcoin analysis and see if we can analyze what happened and more importantly, what's going to happen next. Of course, big candle right here, 11% so far on the weekly candle. This is just a massive move and setting up for a potential RS flip right here at the local range. We entered this range way back. We first tested it back at the end of November. We spent all of December and January in this range, which in my opinion is a healthy consolidation. We've had some struggles at the 50-day moving average, and I'll be honest, this threw me a curveball. I really saw this as a sign of weakness for a long time. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 days where we could not print a candle a full candle body above that 50-day moving average, which was a sign of weakness to me. But nonetheless, we broke the range on Thursday. we nosed up above it. First candle above the 50-day moving average. And of course, today we're now looking at our first candle with the potential to open and close above the local range, which would mark an RS flip here, right? So we want to see this happen on the daily and, of course, the weekly. Something notable here on the monthly is that this move has invalidated the trend precognition signal that we were looking at here. This signal started, and this down here, by the way, is my trend precognition signal strength meter for the A2 Plus algo, which is the arrows here. This signal started as about a 54% probability. And in a couple of days, it settled down to about 47%. And then yesterday, it just, as this move was happening, it just eroded and now it's not meeting my criteria to show a signal. So we're going to call that invalidated. We've got a local high here, just about 49K, and obviously lots of sentiment for a 50K Bitcoin, which in my opinion is more psychological than technical. So let's look at the technicals. We've been talking about these fib retracements for a while now, as Bitcoin has been in the golden pocket here between the 0.5 fib and the 0.618 fib for quite some time, right? So what's next? Well, we've seen this before, okay? Back in 2017, from the 2017 high around 20K to the swing low, and then a retracement back to the golden pocket, which ultimately got rejected when this was actually the COVID crash. So not looking for something this deep, but am mindful of a potential rejection here on this attempt. The top of the golden pocket here sits at right about 48.5, 48.6 or so. So we've already gone higher than that with a wick. We get these overshoots all the time on the technicals, so that's not significant to me. What I'm looking for is to see if price can either close above the golden pocket and start printing full candles above and let that be the next leg up, or maybe we probably be healthier to consolidate here between 48 and 50K before another move, or are we going to break down here? So this is obviously something we're watching very, very closely. This is technical resistance, and this is strong technical resistance, and we can see it in the order book here, right? So obviously Bitcoin is moving into a big block, several blocks of strong liquidity-based resistance here. 48K being that technical level, 50K being psychological, whatever the case, there's a heap of ask liquidity up here holding price down. Now, how do we get to this? How do we get up here? How do we get this big straight, celery stick move? And the answer is quite simple. We saw liquidity moving through the week, right? In the beginning of the week, actually, at the end of January, we had this huge concentration of bid liquidity here, but we started to see things fading back into the 33 to 35K range, which was interesting to me. But then in the past few days, actually since about the beginning of the month, we saw some of this bid liquidity here in the 33 to 35 range get moved down to the 24 to 26K range. So that was really attractive, maybe a dream target, but nonetheless an attractive target. But then we started seeing, in the past 2 days, we started seeing price move up. We started seeing bid liquidity move up. First, it started with this block here around the 42, 43K level. And then actually we had one come in at the 41, 42s, and then up to the 40, 42, 43s. And this also moved, I think, really in the last 24 hours or so. It was basically taken from this ladder here. A section of that was taken out, consolidated, and now we have 41.5 million sitting at this 39 to 40.5K range. So this is helping push things up. As we drill into the shorter time frames, we can see it a little bit clearer. We had looked earlier in the week at all of these ask blocks that kept coming in every time price got near this 44K range. And then we got a little help. As targets were getting hit, they started pulling these resistance blocks and moving them up higher, laddered up higher, higher, and higher. And that has helped clear the way, clear at least some of the way. A lot of this got filled. Most of it did ultimately get filled, but it was stair-stepped up to make it easier for price to move up. Now, what else made it easier was something I like to call liquidity herding. And that's when we see liquidity placed to try and push price in the opposite direction. As you can see, we have this nice block here, this nice ladder of bids here, institutional sized, I might say. And these moves here, this is the liquidity herding that I'm referring to. On Tuesday, we saw this block appear, and price immediately reacted to it. Once things topped out, they placed another block down low to see if they could, kind of backstop this and influence price direction. That failed, obviously. Well, on Wednesday, they got a little wiser. They placed another block here with no intention of it getting filled, and price reacted to it. Once price reacted to it, they moved that block up higher. Price reacted to that. They then when things leveled off, moved in here, right? And so we see this, these foundational moves down low, similar to this one here that we now have around the 46K level. And you have these other blocks that kind of stair step up here. This had no intention of getting hit, right? Look at this one down here. No real intention of getting hit, but it's influencing price. And so that's what I call liquidity herding. And, you might call it a choreographed move. You might call it manipulation. You might say, hey, it's fair play. If you got the stack, use it. Whatever the case, if you can see it, you can trade it. And we can see this is clearly happening here. Now, if we get a rejection from anywhere in this range, I would be cautious of this holding, right? These have a history, new liquidity like this, new big blocks of liquidity that do this have a history of spoofing. So doesn't mean it has to happen, but I'm certainly mindful of the possibility that it could. If I drill in a little bit further here on the daily chart, we can see that we have really a series here. Boom, 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 helping push this up. This is backstopping it here. This is, plunge protection, I guess, 10.5 million or so at the 46K. But this kind of creates a foundation. They want to attract more liquidity above them, as they're doing now, so that at the point when it does dump, they got something to fill, all right, to fill to sell to dump into. So at the moment, we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown of the momentum, but these tend to regain strength pretty quickly. So that's what I'm watching for the day, watching to see where liquidity moves in FireCharts, and watching to see if price can maintain its level. Are we going to get the breakout above the golden pocket and start printing candles and consolidate in a new range above here? Or are we going to see a rejection and come back down? Hope that gives you a good perspective on the market. Nothing I have said or shared with you should be considered trading advice. It's merely my take on things. I hope you've had a great week. Hope you're looking forward to a great weekend. And, maybe if we're lucky, things will just kind of be tame for the weekend, as they have been on most weekends in the post-ETF era. and you can, oh, it's Super Bowl weekend, so you got to enjoy some time. Probably some whales will be trying to exploit the order book while people are enjoying Super Bowl Sunday. Whatever you do this weekend, make it a good one and trade safe, my friends.